All right, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise, honor, and glory goes to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and honors to all you fellow laborers bringing out this word in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Baharakah Kodash, Barakatham. Okay, so hey man, everyone's favorite red man, he back at it again. Donald Trump. Trump threatens to slap retaliatory tariff on European cars as trade war talk heats up. President Trump hit out at Europe, which has threatened retaliation for new U.S. steel export tariffs. Trump said the U.S. may levy a 25% tax on cars exported from the EU, which could impact popular brands sold stateside, which they got the main one what it'll affect all of these German cars, because German cars are widely considered to be the best cars, along with Japanese cars, in particular Toyota, Lexus, which they're the same. And then the top for the German cars being the Audis and the Mercedes. Okay, so President Donald Trump threatened to hit, right, in which that's what I read earlier. In a post on Twitter, Trump cited a big imbalance between the two countries, said if the 28-nation bloc insisted on imposing punitive taxes on U.S. goods, America would strike back on European car exports, which that's going to piss a lot of people off, because a lot of people, they like cars like Teslas, yet Teslas, they're not mass produced like that, and they're not very, accessible. The American car market manufacturing is pretty much gone. I mean, they talk about, okay, we're going to bring it back, they talk about Motor City, restoring Motor City. But even them, they got plants in Mexico and all these different, what the so-called white man calls third world countries. And the quality isn't the same as the German cars. So people are going to feel some type of way about this being instituted. 25%, that's a substantial amount. It was an apparent response to European officials threatening policy changes of their own in the wake of Trump's sudden pronouncement on metal imports. If the EU wants to further increase their already massive tariffs and barriers on U.S. companies doing business there, we will simply apply a tax on their cars, which freely pour into the U.S. That could spell trouble for car manufacturers like Volkswagen and BMW, two of the most popular European brands sold in the U.S. Yeah, because a lot of idiots still get them Jettas, which some joints break down all the damn time. The German luxury car maker also manufactures many of its cars in America, shipping billions of dollars worth abroad. Which, that could spell trouble on a whole nother level, because then they could just say, you know what, I'm gonna shut down my operations here, which that would put the U.S. in a worse situation. In 2016, the EU shipped more than 6 million cars abroad, and the U.S., its largest market by far, absorbed more than 1 million of those, according to the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. Yeah, because America isn't a manufacturing nation, it's a consumer nation. Each year, the U.S. imports more from Europe than the continent absorbs in American goods, to the tune of a trade deficit worth more than $11 billion in 2017. Trump's hasty decision to impose tariffs on steel imports has stoked talk of a brewing trade war, roiling both the political establishment and the global economic order. The move also prompted EU trade chiefs to weigh hitting a broad array of U.S. imports with a 25% tax. Which that's dangerous, man. It's putting America in danger, man. Which, hey, this is all prophecy. Matter of fact, let me get that in Proverbs, because it says, well, Trump suddenly announced this because the Lord is actually working on his mind, man. Because the Lord want to speed this thing up, man. He's building up that tension and that turmoil between Esau over here and his brothers over there in Europe. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Yeah, as the rivers of water. And you observe a water creek, it changes continually, man. It turneth continually. And that's how it is with Trump, man. That's why he's doing all these things, and it look like he's spazzing out, man, to the unseen eye, so to speak, for the unspiritual eye. Yet we, as the men of the Lord, Lord's will of that number, we understand why these things are happening, man. because the Lord is putting these thoughts in his mind, because this is going to ultimately lead to America being destroyed by its European allies. Okay, and Lord's will, I'm going to get that. I'm going to finish off a little more of this and then jump to another article. Yep, the U.S. has an $800 billion yearly trade deficit because of our very stupid trade deals and policies, Trump tweeted. And really, it's because what's really produced here outside of guns? Satan. Outside of guns, man. Not too much. Hey, well, that's the spirit. I'll just keep going on this one. Trade wars are good. 2 words. Great Depression. Because this is what Trump tweeted out. President Donald Trump is itching for a trade war. No matter what you do for a living, that should scare you. In a trade war, countries impose tariffs and other barriers on imported products, often in retaliation for actions taken by a trading partner. That can slow down business activity around the globe by crimping international trade. In a worst case scenario, trade wars can lead to a global depression, which that's very likely at this point because the global economy is just that. It's a global economy. Okay, it's all intertwined. In a worst case scenario, trade wars can lead to a global depression. Protectionist trade policies are one of the primary factors economists cite for deepening the Great Depression. So if there's one thing that most economists agree on, it's no one wins a trade war. But President Trump doesn't believe that. He tweeted out Friday morning that for the U.S., a trade war is good and easy to win, which he's delusional, man. Donald Trump is a bug out, man, because America doesn't really have any leverage. People are dumping the dollar, just like Iran. They're in the process of dumping the dollar right now. They're trying to not have it in circulation. And 25% tax, that's substantial, man. Especially when that's one of your main trading partners. Okay, talking about them different European countries. So I'm going to jump around. Prices will go up. This much is certain. In a trade war, U.S. consumers and businesses will be left with the bill. President Trump says he plans to impose a 25% tariff on imported steel and 10% tariff on imported aluminum. That means the price of cars, appliances, packaged food, and everything else that uses steel or aluminum is bound to go up. And people are already stagnant in their wages. The cost of living is increasing, and then the cost of goods increase too. These people are going to lose it. Even the aluminum's industry trade group admits the smelters remaining in this country cannot make enough additional aluminum to replace the supply coming from overseas. When the tariffs are put in place, imported products will continue to come in at higher prices. Since foreign steel and aluminum prices will be higher, domestic producers are likely to raise their prices as well. Yeah, because they have to keep up with the competition. American businesses will lose sales. Yes, America buys more than other countries than it sells to its trading partners. But don't discount the amount of goods and services the U.S. does export, $2.3 trillion worth, which a lot of that is genetically modified food and weapons. A trade war, by definition, means that other countries are going to slap tariffs and restrictions on those U.S. goods and services, making them more expensive and less competitive if they're allowed into those countries at all. Yeah, that's right, because they might just outright block it, which you got a lot of countries that are blocking American goods, namely the food, as we speak, man. Why? Because the food is poisoning people, man. And that's an agreement that Esau makes, especially with a lot of these so-called Latin American countries, okay, who live off the land, and then the tribes in the islands. They say, okay, yeah, we'll forgive some of your debt, but you gotta give my corn over here preferential treatment in your markets, okay, and they're allowed to ship it in and have it cheaper. Which, what does that do? That puts the local farmer out of business. And then where does he go? He brings his ass over here, man, to be a slave on Esau's agribusiness. Okay, big ass plantation. And once the American business loses a contract to sell its products overseas, it can take a long time to win that business back. Their customers will find other, perhaps more dependable suppliers while the trade war is waged. Yeah, and, that's pretty much it. This is what's on the horizon. Scriptures say what? Wars and rumors of war. And Esau is divided, man. This is all biblical prophecy. That's the part of the article, okay? To show you that biblical prophecy is coming to pass, and it's just speeding up, man. And a lot of people from the outside looking in, they're like, no! It's like you watching a movie and you know somebody about to make a stupid move and you start yelling at the screen. That's what people are doing, yet they can't stop nothing because it's prophecy. This is Mark 3:24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. And that's what's happening. The satanic kingdom of Esau, the house of Edom, is being divided, man. And it's coming to an end. It can't stand. This is Revelation 17:16. And the 10 horns, which the 10 horns is talking about the European Union, which thou sawest upon the beast, which the beast is NATO, which the majority of NATO is made up of the EU nation countries. However, you got America, you got Canada, you got Turkey, okay, which are exceptions, which aren't on the EU yet are in NATO. Okay, showing you that there's a separation, yet it's pretty much the same block with a few more countries added on NATO side, the beast. These shall hate the whore. Yeah, and you see this, man. You see this. It's clear as day. Because a trade war is what happens before a physical war. Because then what happens is the conditions worsen for that country because of the different tariffs, okay, the skyrocketing prices, hyperinflation. And then the people start agitating, man. And then they go to the source, man. And they agitate the government to do what? To go to war with them, man. Okay? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, by way of these intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. These shall hate the whore. And you see the hate intensifying, man. Because and Trump is the perfect guy for the job, man. The Lord was like, hey, look, man, I'm tired of this shit. I'm going to put this monkey up in here. Just have him say all types of just crazy shit to infuriate and offend everybody around the globe so that they'll all be confederate in wanting to shoot missiles over here, man. Even their own allies, even their own people, which we're reading about here. Okay, so hopefully that was edifying. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawakak Wadash, and death to America.